All right, welcome to another Black Excellence Club podcast. My name is Sakudini and I am the host, and I am on a journey from unknown to unforgettable. And today I have with me a special friend. I really don't know her first name, but I know her last name. Her last name is Furqan. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna let her introduce herself
My
with her
name's
first name.
Jiqena Furqan.
Okay, Jiqena.
Yes.
Okay, now I know her first name, guys.
Okay.
All right, so we met from the army.
hmm
When did you join?
When I was 18.
Like, what year was that?
2016, 2017.
Okay, so you joined. Yeah, sounds about right. So, what has, because I know you left
Yeah.
recently, so what has life been like since leaving the army?
That's a good question. Um, Ups and downs. Definitely a lot of dawns. Um, I was, I'm still going through back issues, but I'm stronger. I could sit up, without like wobbling or just feeling like pain, like a lot of pain. I got stronger. Uh, I had to go through a lot of physiotherapy, like physical rehab, um, chiropractor, back and forth to the spa. I had acupunctures, the suction cup things. Not sure what it's called. Um, I've been through like physical rehab, just getting myself back strong. Um, I was a mentor for teens of the age of 14 to 17, and we was taking them through healthy and unhealthy relationships, and identifying toxic people.
And where was that? Like, was that through a specific program or?
Raleigh, Bermuda.
Okay, the Raleigh. Okay. And what was that experience like doing
Well,
being a
teens
mentor
will.
first off?
Yeah. Mentor of teens is different than mentoring adults, because with the regiment, I can give you an order and but with teen, there's pushback. There's it's good to ask questions. You shouldn't ever discourage people from asking questions. I encourage people to ask questions because it helps me be a better teacher, and it helps them be a better student. Um, they the thing is, these kids, like say some of them were in the adoption system, some of them in the system, some of them were taken away from the parents, some of them, maybe suffering with depression, and you have to go through training in order to help the specific needs. So it's a journey for me, my growth journey, and we were basically growing together. So it was like a each one teach one type of thing. So it was very like humbling in a way, because you can't just do this. You gotta be like, okay, so what's going on today? You have to check in with the feelings. You have to see how they're feeling, so that you know how to cater to them. If they're not feeling it, if they had a rough day at school, okay, maybe you can take some time. You can ease your way into the activity, and then check in. So it's definitely a transition. Like I had to come from being militant to being soft and gentle. Like
I can understand that change. That I can understand. So what got you into Raleigh?
um, I actually was in Raleigh before regiment. So I had a year program in Raleigh where we just trained. It was survival skills. We would camp out. We would do team building exercises. Like I was in Raleigh before regiment. I even ran away to Costa Rica and Nicaragua, and we did community work. And we basically just laid pipe, because they had a old way of collecting water. So years before today, they were walking to the nearest river, collecting water, and then walking back to the village. That the nearest river could be an hour, 2 hours away. Same way the nearest hospital could be 2 days away. So it was in phases. So the first phase, they dug out trenches. Second phase, they built a tank for the water, and then our phase, we laid the pipe, and then we put a faucet. They didn't have water where you can turn it off. So we put a faucet so they can have clean, fresh water that's you could just walk outside your house and it's right there. To us, that's like basic, like, it's in the house.
Exactly.
But to them, they have to the now catching up to what we've been like, what we're used to generations in.
Understandable. What made you get into Raleigh Bermuda? Because I feel like I went through the application phase. I got accepted, and then some sort of conflict of schedule. I can't remember what it was, so I never finished. So, like, I know the application process. You do a weekend, something, and then it goes on from there. So, what's the process of getting into Raleigh, and then let's just start with that.
Man, that's years ago. Like, so yeah, it is a camp. I think you have to apply, police background check. But I was fresh out of high school. I was still in high school. I had yet to graduate.
Right.
A camp. It was like, yeah, like you had to camp outside. You had to learn how to swim. So they took us through like swimming exercises or an assessment, a swim assessment. You basically grow. Is a development program. Yeah, there's like a few camps.
And then you went overseas.
Yeah, they trained us for that overseas expedition.
Right. I don't think I made it that far because I missed like one of the critical things type thing. So I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you had regiments like the same thing, but you get paid.
Yeah, basically. So what was that full like experience like doing that? Because I didn't get to do it. So what was your personal experience like? What was it like? Did you build relationships with the people that you were with, stuff like that?
Like, I'm still friends with people I met with away. Say I was very introverted. I was very to myself. Didn't want to open up. Was real quiet. Like, even like I would like mumble. You could barely hear me if I spoke. Wouldn't look nobody in the eyes. Barely. I really broke out of my shell when I was in Raleigh, because you get to exercise communication. You get to exercise that social skills. You get to just, and it's a very accepting program. Like, no matter what your background is a development program. So wherever you are in life, it just pushes you to and challenges you to grow out of that, or grow into yourself, like more yourself. It's beautiful.
Most definitely. I mean, everyone that I know that's completed the program always has something nice to say, or they stay in the program as long as they possibly can.
Yeah.
So that's definitely good. So how did you get into the mentorship aspect for the program?
Like, I think it's because I'm a Leo. I'm like a natural born leader. I know you want to smile. I'm a natural born leader. Like, I feel like I've gone through struggles, and I know I wanted a mentor. I know I wanted to just go to somebody and ask them questions. Because sometimes when you're younger, you don't want to go to adults because you don't feel like they would not really understand, but it's like there's a comfort. There's a certain comfort that you have when you go to somebody and ask for advice when they're close to your age, instead of older than you, because you might feel like they're going to judge you. You may feel like there's going to be a lecture. You may feel like the conversation is going to be harder than you actually approaching them on the question. So I feel like I want to be that person to go to. Like, I want them to feel comfortable. Like, I've made myself a safe haven for people to just come to, and that's just innate for me. That's natural for me to make people feel comfortable in their own skin. And I would love, and a lot of teens may be going through like and like this, they're going through hormones that they don't understand. They're going through something where they're going through a phase, they're going through a cycle where they need help, they need guidance. And there's a lot of teens who are just lost and don't know who to go to ask. So I just feel like I'm that helping hand.
That's dope. Well done. helping the youngest come up. Well done, well done. I'll give you your props if no one else is. You know what I'm saying? So, why are you here today on the Black Accents Club podcast?
Well, a second, cause I said I'm writing a book. I'm in the process of writing a book,
Okay.
and then I had mentioned that to this lovely lady right here, and she was like, let me put you on, so you could get yourself out there, so your voice could be heard on the topic. So I'm writing a book, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, so now let's
The
talk
Black
about this book.
Excellence.
Let's talk about this book. What is this book? Do you have a title for the book?
Love you to the moon and back.
Love You to the Moon and Back. What is the reasoning behind the title?
So it's actually from a quote where the phrase love you to the moon and back means that I'll love you for a lifetime, basically. And it makes sense that the only person that you're going to love for a lifetime is yourself. So it's a self-love journey on loving yourself, because it's an everyday process. It's an everyday practice to love yourself. And I was already on that journey as well, while like for relationships, and it's like it's a cat where you only love somebody as much as you love yourself. So if you can't imagine loving yourself, you have a terrible self-image. You just like, you can't find a way of not like I don't want to use any like derogatory words. Like you struggle loving yourself, so you're gonna struggle loving somebody else.
Okay, that's understandable. Like, I totally agree with that, because like, you can't, yeah, if you don't love yourself, you really can't love anyone else. Once you learn how to love yourself, what your love language is, then you can teach someone how to love you, in a sense.
Yeah.
Check me learning something new. Now, like, I think that's where I'm at in my life as well, is on my own self-love journey, just being by myself, being lonely, as some would say. Just trying to get to know myself, really, because I can't really ask someone to get to know me if I don't really know myself.
Exactly.
So I feel like that's where I'm at in my life. So I just keep myself busy with work, but I'm also consciously thinking about different things that I am doing. Like, what is it that I like? What do I enjoy doing? What don't I enjoy doing? Different things like that. So that is, I feel like that's a lifelong journey that I just started maybe a year and a half ago. So I'm working on it.
Okay. That's good.
That's good.
Yes.
That's what you gotta say?
Yes. It's a journey. Like the beginning is just momentum. Like, it's best to start than to get to like 50 and regret life.
That's a good point to put.
Best to start than to regret. Or try and not regret.
Okay. So what else can we look forward to in your book?
No, I wrote the book while I was going through stuff. So it was like, to look forward to, I don't know the audience. I know myself. Like, I'm very
Okay, well,
like,
let's talk about yourself
strong-minded.
then. So what was so you said you started to write the book because you was going through the self-love journey.
Yeah.
So what really encouraged you to write it to whereas you can put it out for other people to read?
Like, I feel like love is, man, it goes way back to like preparing to be a wife. Like, cause I grew up Muslim. I was born Muslim.
Okay.
So like, marriage is like a big thing in a way, because when you become a woman, you can get married immediately. Like, some females get married young.
So what do you consider young?
So in the culture, as soon as a female goes through her menstrual cycle, when she first has her menstrual cycle, she becomes a woman.
Okay.
So that could be 12, 10, 13, depending on when she has her menstrual cycle.
Mm-hmm.
She could just get married off then. In some strict countries, they have where the parents pick the man for you.
Yeah, arranged marriages.
Arranged marriage. And it's like, to me, when I went 12, I was like, okay, what do I need to know? Like, what's the difference between me, because I'm a woman, but there's a difference between me and a grown woman who's got a job and a career and has money and has a house and all that other stuff. So what's the difference? What do I need to know to become a wife? And it was just a whole journey of learning how to cook, learning how to just learn how to be a wife.
Okay. So would you say you were taught that prior to adulthood, so to say?
I don't know if I was taught. I think I just learned.
Okay.
I just like studied and looked into stuff.
Okay, so is your family like strict Muslims, like very
No,
strict?
not
Or-
really.
No, okay. So what? So I'm not very well versed on different religions, because I grew up Christian. To me, they're all the same. You all worship the same God. You just call them a different name.
Yeah.
That's what I personally believe.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Okay. So what was it like growing up Muslim in Bermuda with what you experienced? Because you said your parents weren't really strict Muslims. So I know some people are very strict. You can't do this, can't do this, can't do this.
Yeah. So I'm very lax on certain things. Like I don't walk around with a hijab. I don't
Okay.
walk around saying assalamu alaikum. I say hey. Like
Okay.
I don't make it known that I'm a Muslim because I don't know how people will respond. Some people may be like have animosity or aggression towards Muslims, so I kind of keep it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you know, you know. Now I'm like being more overt about it, being more like, yeah, I'm Muslim. Like I don't think there's any shame behind it. I'm not the one going around terrorizing people. Like
Right.
and it's not even a cultural thing to. And I'm getting deep into it, but
for it.
like, it's not a cultural. It's not Muslim to terrorize people. Is beyond our nature. We're very peaceful people. Assalamu alaikum means peace be unto you. We wish peace to people when we greet people. That is our greeting, to wish people peace. And our response is unto you be peace. Wishing peace back to somebody is not a Muslim thing to be terrorist.
Right.
That's savagery.
Just happens to be. I feel like when it comes to terrorism, it just happens to be the country that they're born from.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Muslim as a religion. It's just a country that they're in.
Yeah. Or beliefs, or you can even say what is it, patriarchy, where it's like man dominated, where they try to dominate females.
Mm-hmm.
There are some countries where females can't even educate themselves. So education for us is really important, like to read, or like education for me is important as well. Like you gotta educate yourself outside of school. Education don't stop after you graduate.
Most definitely. Like you said, I didn't know you was Muslim too. I feel like until you left it on me.
Really? I've
Yeah.
had Ramadan, like, that's the thing. Cause
Yes, I think it was closest to when you was leaving that I found out, because you was doing.
COVID operation.
Was it because you had to fast or something like that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I think that's when I found out you was Muslim. Because up until then, I didn't know.
I'm done Ramadan through like 2 operations. Another
Okay.
one I couldn't do it because I was away. Don't really have to fast when you're away because of
Right.
the time difference.
Okay, so talked about your religion. Let's talk about your book. I feel like we just skipped over your book a bit. So
It has something. It's my life, you know.
right. So what is something that me, as someone that likes to read books, can look forward to in your book, To the Moon and Love You, To the Moon and Back?
The growth process. I'm going through a whole growth process, and I'm writing about it, like documenting my whole journey of self-love, because I went from having suicidal thoughts to just looking in the mirror like, I'm gorgeous, and just make myself blush. Like
That's what you have to do, though, because you're not always gonna get that from someone else. Like you have to be your number one fan, and sounds like that's what you did.
It's a journey to love yourself, you know. Yeah.
So look forward to the growth. It's okay. I know you're nervous. It's okay.
Okay.
It's just you know me. It's not like I'm some stranger.
Yeah. We did photography, combat, combat
Yeah,
camera.
comeback camera. All right, let's talk about that because I feel like you might be a little more comfortable talking about that, and then
Okay.
we can come back to your book. So, I met Jiqena, not Jiqena,
Yes.
Jiqena from the regiment. She came in as a private, and I was a corporal. And then you developed a passion for photography, or I'm
That's
not
been
sure if you
it was
had
my
that
hobby.
before, or
Yeah.
okay. So let's talk about that.
My daddy was always taking pictures. Like my granny was, it was just a thing. I loved cameras too, like vintage cameras. I didn't care if it was wrecking or broken. Like I just liked cameras, and and then like eventually I started taking pictures. It was like a little point and shoot camera. I just go around walking with my sister, taking pictures of anything that I find beautiful, and that's everywhere. You gotta have an eye for beauty.
Okay. So, and were you like? I feel like I remember you saying about having your artwork somewhere,
Yeah.
like in a museum, not a museum, but like in a show or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
My kingship series. So I did have art in the art gallery. I don't know which one you're talking about because I did have a sculpture called Underdog or something. I just kind of like named People thought it was something else, but it was from this movie. It's like a woman's torso with a house on top, and
okay.
I found this tree stump during hurricane season. So I had manpower, some strength, and we was old. We was wrecking out like, can I get that stump? I just put it on the truck and then dropped it off at my school, and then eventually I just like worked on it and then turned it into this beautiful woman's torso with a house on top.
Okay.
And then kingship is, man, kingship's the whole concept behind kingship is behind a great man is a great woman, and it's basically me sympathizing with the black man.
Okay.
That's what kingship is, and it's
Sympathizing how?
like seeing what they've been through, knowing what they've been through, and educating yourself on what they've had to endure, and sympathizing with the black man by saying, okay, I see that you've been through a lot. I see that you held your composure. I see that you haven't, you're still getting arrested. You're still getting shot. You're still going through these things. You may not even get hired for some jobs just because you're a man. Like it's easier for women to go get jobs like that. Some man would be waiting months, years, whatever the case may be, just to get a job, just to put food on the table. You got people playing with a man's food. Like that's what it basically is, playing with the food. And is a man may feel like they have to resort to going to the streets, and there's more violence. There's more just trauma. Men have feelings. Men have go through trauma, and I wanted to glorify the black man, not glorify the troubles and all that type of stuff, but glorify him for his strength and his. It's deep. It's real deep because a black man is beautiful. Like everything about a black man is beautiful. Like his intellect, his strength, and all that type of stuff is beautiful. You gotta have an eye for beauty.
Art for beauty. So was it photos? Was it like paintings, drawings?
I'm artistic. I'm all rounded.
Okay, so with kingship, what was it?
It's paintings.
Paintings. So you was painting the black man. Were you going off of a reference or just going off your head?
Inspiration. That's a good question. Like where it stemmed from? Cause I was always in that hustle vibe. Like my dad is a hustler. He had his own trucking business, did landscape, flooring, plumbing, electrical wiring, like you name it. And he was just a busy man. Like I'm a daddy's girl.
Okay.
And and it's like it was the hustle vibe. So king shit, pardon me, but it's king shit. And then it's kingship where it's mannerism, where he has prestige, where he walks with confidence with his head up and chest out, and it's all about like respect and esteeming the black man and loving the black man.
Okay. That's deep.
See, love. It's
Yes.
just love is me. Love is like
There's definitely you. It seems like everything that you do revolves around love. Would you say, why would you say everything that revolves around you is around love, other than we need love to survive?
well. I don't think I grew up in a really loving. They may look at it as love. It's tough love,
Okay.
but that may be the cap. That's where the love stops. You know. But I want to break past that ceiling because it's not loving to me. You know, it's very love deprived in a way. They don't know how to talk to themselves. They don't know how to talk to other people, and 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 I wanted better for myself. You know, I didn't want to talk to myself how they talk to me, how they treated me. I wanted better for myself. So it comes from my environment, my household. You know, you could be religious, but that doesn't mean you're loving.
Most definitely. It's interesting that you said it stems from your environment and going against what, not against, but doing the opposite of what was in your household. Because I don't know where I came across this, but lately that's something that keeps popping up. Is you are a product of your environment. And at the end of the day, it's all about what you personally choose to do about that.
Right?
You either choose to be the exact same as the product of your environment, or you choose to be complete opposite. And what it sounds like is you're doing the opposite because you want better
Yeah, you can
versus
become
than
your
what it
environment.
was. Yeah, you exactly. You become your environment. You can choose, especially as an adult, you can choose what you want and what you don't want in your life. That's definitely a choice versus as a child living in someone else's home. Even if you're adult still living in someone else's home, you can be like, nah, I'm not. Don't no.
Yeah,
You have your boundaries as an adult versus as a child. Like they're not gonna
boundaries.
respect it.
Exactly.
So I definitely understand that because that's definitely something that keeps circling back around. I was talking about that earlier. I went to lunch earlier today, and we was talking about like how, like my friend, he said he's like very affectionate. He's a very affectionate person. So I asked him like, were your parents or your mom or your dad very affectionate towards you? He said no. And that's why I think I'm very affectionate because that's what I didn't have.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you said basically the exact same thing. It's like just putting into your life what you didn't have, but what you wanted
Yeah.
and you didn't get.
On your nose.
I was like, yeah, see, I'm smart, just a little bit,
A little?
just a little bit, just a little smart. All right. You have any questions for me?
Man. Okay.
So I feel like you do.
What put you on this journey? You were speaking of you started the journey. What made you what clicked? What was that
When it
point
comes
for
to
you?
life or the podcast,
No, you said the self-love journey.
self-love journey, I just realized like, because I've like at 28, I've never been in a real relationship. Like I've been in relationships, but not a real loving.
Situations.
Yeah, situationships, right? So I've never been in a
Yeah.
real relationship, and I had to stop and think like, why haven't you been in a real relationship? And I had to stop, like, really just stop and think like, okay, maybe you don't think highly of yourself enough to set your boundaries,
Right.
because boundaries is a big thing, and I feel like anyone needs to understand their personal boundaries. You need to figure out what you accept and what you do not accept and stand by that, and don't let anyone push you over.
Right.
So with that, battling depression, it's just really just trying to figure out who I am as a person, and then going from there. Because if I can't love me, I can't love anyone else. So
Exactly.
that's exactly where that journey starts. Like me, it's like, man, why am I always alone? Why am I always by myself? I had to stop and think. It's like, well, I've always been alone. Like I feel like not my whole life, but majority of my life, I've been alone. I'm not an only child, but there's a big age gap between me and my sister.
Right.
So I basically grew up as an only child. So I've always been alone, so to say.
Yeah.
But it's just working through that, just working through creating relationships, friendships with people. I feel like that's something that I've always had issues with growing up.
Yeah.
As I stop and reflect, mainly because I was bullied a lot throughout primary, middle school. High school was pretty much when it stopped. But like since then, it's just like trying to develop proper friendships. What does a healthy friendship look like?
Yeah.
You know, what does a healthy relationship look like? Because at the same time, goes back to what you saw growing up. I never saw a healthy relationship. Never saw my mom with another man. So for me, my whole life, my mom was always single.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just like, well, I don't need a man. Not
Yeah.
necessarily in that thinking, but it's just what I'm noticing is that's just what I saw. So basically, it may not have clicked, but now it's clicked. That may be why I'm still single. Like that's
Yeah.
why I'm never been in a relationship, because I've never
It's
seen,
not familiar.
right. It's not familiar territory. So just figuring out myself. Because I
Yeah.
still ask myself, what do you enjoy doing? What do you do for fun? And
Enjoyment's random.
sometimes I can't answer that. And I'm just like, man, because I have other people. What do you want to do? I don't know. I don't know. That's always my answer. Since young, that's been my answer. So now,
That's the journey.
pardon?
And that's the journey.
Yeah, exactly. It's figuring out what I like and what I don't like.
You want to know my joy?
Sure, go
It's
for it.
random. It's like a crossword puzzle. Crossword puzzles. And
Okay,
I like puzzles.
I can see that.
There's mazes and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, right now, what can I say? Something that I like to play Monopoly.
Yeah.
That's if
like-
there's a game
I
I
like
like to
Monopoly.
play, it's Monopoly, and it's
It's
not.
like never ending. It can go on forever.
Pardon?
It's like never ending. Like it can go on forever.
No, not really.
Really?
I play it on my phone. I don't play it in person.
Oh.
Yeah, I play it on my phone. So
Like solitaire. Like solitary.
yeah, basically, but
Yeah.
it's Monopoly on my phone. So and I think the reason I like it is because it's two ways you can look at it. You can look at it, oh, it's just a game, or you can look at it, hey, this is life.
Definitely.
And that's the way I play it, as,
Strategy.
hey, this is life. So for me, my ultimate goal is real estate. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why that's the game that I play, because it's basically a real estate game.
That's cool.
So so you start off with X amount of money, and the goal is to win.
Yeah.
And not have any debt, not to have to mortgage anything, not to continuously pay out rent. You want more
Right.
people to pay you than you
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
out, type thing. And that's the way that I look at it when I play it. So it's not like I'm just, oh, let me just play this game to waste time.
Strategy.
It's exactly, and it's thinking about life in general. So when I finally buy my first property, I'm looking at, okay, what's next? How can I buy this second piece of property with least amount of debt? Or and then when it comes to real estate, it depends, because you can either do cash or you can do OPM, which is other people's money.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Oh, snap.
So it really depends. So I could do a mix of both if I really wanted, and it really
Yeah.
depends on where you're at in life. And for me, right now, to start, I'm gonna use other people's money, because that's gonna be the easiest bet for me to
Yeah.
start. Once that becomes profitable, then I'm not gonna need other
Yeah.
people's money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's lots
So-
of people in that field.
Yeah, so that's where, for right now, I can say I enjoy playing Monopoly. That's something that I like to do.
Yeah. That's cool.
If I could think of another thing, reading. I feel like reading is therapy for me. Just sitting off and reading a good book. I don't pick it up as often as I should,
That's okay.
but I pick up books. Let's see, what else do I enjoy doing? I can't even say I enjoy meeting new people.
Okay, so
I can't say that, because that's just so out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But it's starting to become more comfortable, if that makes
You
sense.
might be introverted. Like it's okay.
I am, for sure. I am definitely an introvert.
Man, I was gonna say something.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
your
Go
kid, look, your child self. Like, what did you like to do when you was younger?
Sports. I played a lot of sports when I was younger.
Okay.
Football, cricket, squash, table tennis. Like, I was playing
Yeah.
sports growing up. And for me, like in Bermuda, I feel like it's just so hard, because once you go 18, it's nothing for you to do. That's the way it was for me when I went 18. Like, okay, you was playing football all since like 6 years old up to 18. Okay, now I'm 18. I have no sport to play. There's no football league for me to play in.
Yeah.
Versus when I was a
That's
child,
true.
the women's football league was a big thing,
Yeah.
and it just went away. So as an adult, it's like it took away what was my passion, and now I don't have it. So
Yeah.
it's like trying to find a new activity that can fill that void, but it's not football and it's
Yeah.
not cricket.
Yeah.
So it's not really gonna fill the void, because those are my two favorite sports, and I can't just go and play. Like even now, they don't have a women's league for football or cricket. It's only under 18.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably pass for under 18, but I'm not gonna do that because these little girls will outrun me like crazy. I am so unfit. Like I'm just being honest. Like I feel like that's where Bermuda dropped the ball because everything is men's. But what about the women that still like to play sports?
Yeah.
Like what about the young adults that want to continue? Unless you have a scholarship, you're not gonna continue playing.
Yeah.
So,
okay. I had a question on energy. So I've learned, I'm growing to learn that there's an imbalance. So I also have, like, my mama was always on that I'm an independent woman, I don't need a man type of tip, and I kind of grew like masculine, like hard, cold, like, you know, I got, since I was in my masculine, I attracted feminine, well, not feminine, just like soft guys who are like, my uncle will call them punks, like just like, you know, sis, like guys who are just not
mama's
real
boys.
Yeah,
Let's
like
just call them mama's
the
boys.
the bad type of mama's boys, not the one that's like respectful to his mama's, but like the umbilical cord still attached type of mama's boys.
Mama's boys. Let's call them that.
Yeah, mama's boys. And when I made that shift, I was on like a feminine journey where I had to soften up. And when I made that shift, I started seeing like guys was like approach me, and it would be like this one time I saw like this competition where guys were trying to compete for my attention, and it's like, you're laughing, this is real.
No, it's a real change though. Cause yeah, I can almost relate to that. Cause I'm very tomboyish, and even now people are like, oh, why you don't dress up? Why you don't do this? Why you don't? Cause I'm not comfortable doing that. If like, and then some people say, oh, well, you always wear like track pants or a sweatsuit.
I've seen you in a dress.
And yeah, see you in a dress. I'm in track pants and a t-shirt, right?
I've seen you in a dress.
Yeah, I wear dresses. It's nothing like I have nothing against it, but my thing is give me a reason to wear it.
Oh, okay.
That's where I'm at with it. So if you wish to see me in a dress, give me a reason to wear one.
Because you look cute in a dress.
Thank you. I know I do. I look good in a dress. People just don't see it that often, so every time they see it, it's like a big shocker to them. It's just like, oh, I didn't know you dress. Yeah, I can wear a dress and heels, get my hair did, all of that. It's just like for me, sometimes it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I only buy things that I'm comfortable in anyway. So I can't even say like, oh, I'm uncomfortable wearing this. It's more of give me a reason to wear it and I'll wear it.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't have it. I just choose not to wear it. I'm not just going to wear it to go to a bar. Like, no.
That.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
what I grew out of.
Personally.
That's what I had to grow out of.
I'm
like,
still trying to grow out of that. But until then,
sweats.
I'm still in sneakers and sweats and jeans.
Yeah.
Come at me.
See,
come for me.
She's ready to fight.
I don't. One thing about me, I am not a fighter. Okay, I have never been in a fight in my life.
That's good. I hear like it's terrible.
But I am. I'm not like I look that way, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So like one of my friends, I think growing up, one of my friends called me Teddy Bear. Cause it's like, yeah, you look all grizzly on the outside, but you're
so funny.
Exactly, like you are the complete opposite. But it takes someone getting to know me to realize that. Some people just look at me, it's like, let me not approach her. Let me
it's
not
too much
do that.
effort.
Yeah, it looks like that, but it's not. It's really not that much effort.
Yeah,
unless
to get to know somebody, some people just go by face value.
Yeah, my face. They say a resting bitch face. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I think it's growing though. I think it's getting better. I don't think it looks very unapproachable anymore. I think it's more approachable now than it was 2 years ago.
You know, you had to exercise your face.
Exercise my face?
Yeah, to smile. Gotta relax. I noticed I was so tense. Like when I went through like the massages and going to spa, I was so tense. Like even in my face, I was just tense. It's just relax.
Yeah,
you gotta relax.
Relaxing,
like, legit. Like take the tension off you.
Relaxing is hard for me, to be honest. It is.
Yeah, you have to recognize or realize where you're at always. Like, are you always in that fight or flight? Are you always like work? Are you like, what's your familiar?
That is true. Like, yeah, I mean, put it that way. I think I'm in work. Not fight or flight, but work. And I'm just always working, like,
Yeah.
so relaxing for me is hard. Like, even on vacation, it's just, like, actually, on vacation is probably the easiest time for me to relax because I have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And, like, when I do go on vacation, I may plan 2 or 3 excursions or 2 to 3 things to do out of a week. And the rest of it, I'll probably sleep or just lie in bed and watch TV.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what my body just needs. It's not necessarily me being lazy.
Recovery.
It's just, it's a recovery situation. Just doing what my body wants not my body wants, but what my body needs.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning how to accept that.
Yeah. Takes time, like, legit.
These things take time. It's learning yourself, learning your body. It all goes back to that self-love journey, right?
Yeah.
It's getting to know yourself, what you need, what you don't need, what you want, what you don't
Let's say
want.
self-love practice, maybe.
Self-love practice. Yeah, because it is a practice because you have to do it every day
Yeah.
in order to get better at it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a practice. Yeah. Any more questions for me?
Do I? It's a lovely conversation. Do you have any affirmations?
Affirmations. Ooh, that's a good one. No.
Or mantra?
No. Pardon?
Or a thought pattern? Like a positive thought pattern?
Positive thought pattern.
Like
Honestly,
something you say to yourself frequently.
now you got me thinking. Frequently, I don't think so, but that I say, sometimes I have to remind myself I'm not living for right now. I'm living for the future.
Yeah.
Remind myself of why I'm doing things. Positively reminding myself of why I'm doing things, because that can be negative at sometimes because you're like, oh well, you could have been at this place in your life, but you're here.
No rush.
It's
You are
definitely
where you're supposed to be.
exactly. It's more of just staying positive with it. But as for affirmations or anything like that, no. I think right now I'm just I'm on a journey from unknown to unforgettable. And my unforgettable may not be what some people may think. Unforgettable maybe for some people being a famous person. For me, unforgettable is just this podcast.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is gonna leave. It's gonna be, hopefully it will be in the culture forever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The internet lives forever, so this will be here 100 years from now for someone to watch and learn from. So for me, unforgettable is that way. I always think, like, 'cause just going on that, like, everyone has a reason for their life and what their life is meant to be, and I've always known that my life is to help others.
That's why you're a medic.
Yeah, exactly. So, some of you guys may know, I don't know. I'm not even sure if I've mentioned it on here, but I am an advanced emergency medical technician, i.e. I save lives on the ambulance. It's the easiest way to put it.
She saves lives.
Yeah, I
She
save
saves
lives.
lives.
So for
Something to,
me,
like, put emphasis on.
it's always been a helping thing. Because, like, even, like, because I grew up in the church, like, oh, I want to be a missionary. Yeah, that changed very quick. But I'm still helping people in a different way. It may not be like, oh, come and take Jesus as your Lord and Savior. It's more of, okay, let me help you live another day, or help your family member in their time
You're doing
of
Jesus'
need.
work. It's okay.
At the end of the day, yeah.
Hands on.
Exactly. So it's like, for me, I feel like my life's work is always going to be helping others. So when I say unknown to unforgettable, I just want to leave a legacy of helping others. Not necessarily of wealth and fame, although I will be wealthy. It's not necessarily from this. You know what I mean? It'll be from other endeavors, because this for me is more of a, I guess you could say this is what I enjoy doing, you know? Because when I think about it, because I had to stop and think, like, because I got to a point where I was feeling overwhelmed and I was doing too many things, and it's just like, what means the most to you? And this means the most to me. Doing this podcast is speaking to other melanated individuals and giving them a one-up, giving them a one up, giving the person that's listening to this right now a one up on life, because this is something that they may have never heard before, and now
The
they
Black
have.
excellence.
Yeah, like the
That
Black
is
Excellence
true.
Club. And that's why it's called the Black Excellence Club, is because I'm highlighting melanated individuals, black people.
Especially in
Melanated.
Bermuda.
Yeah, because I feel like when I was looking to learn about like business investing, getting ahead in life, I wasn't learning from someone that looked like me. And that
Yeah.
was my issue. I was like, this is a problem that needs to change.
Yeah.
So how can I change it? And this is how the Black Accents Club developed. And then it turned into a podcast. So I was like, okay, bet. Let's go with it and see where it goes. And here we are. Almost 30 episodes in.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm like old prod and stuff.
Thank
Okay,
you. I
chill.
appreciate that.
Okay.
Man. I'm just, that I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I'm still helping people. I'm not saving their life right this moment, but I may be helping them down the road.
Yeah.
And that at the end of the day, that's what matters to me. So, yeah.
I know what ties in.
Most definitely. It's crazy the way it all ties in, but I mean, not crazy, but it's I would say it's interesting the way that everything ties in, because I didn't even notice it
Yeah.
until recently.
Yeah.
Like, so
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. That was all I heard.
It's like, yeah. All right. Anything else that we haven't spoken about that you wish to talk about?
Something just crossed my mind, but it was about like energy, like feminine and masculine energy, and there being a balance to have or maintain a healthy relationship.
In general, or with particular people?
Like, what you mean by that question? What you mean by that question? Healthy relationship?
Yeah, healthy
Feel like-
relationship, because that can go between specific people
parents
or in
and-
general.
Yeah, that's true. Healthy relationship in your spouse, like partnership, your marriage. Yeah, because I'm been thinking about like being a wife, so yeah, marriage, and how a balanced dynamic is very important. Oh, you know what? Because you was talking about money and legacy and relationships. Have you heard of the 100-year plan?
No,
So they say marriage is a business.
most definitely.
So in order to have a successful business, you have to have a successful relationship. Because the relationship fails, then the business may go down with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be able to pass on that legacy generation to generation to generation. And that stems from a healthy relationship, a healthy partnership. So it starts with self-love. It starts with loving yourself first so that you can love somebody else. And it has to be abundant because you're giving to yourself, your partner, the business, and your kids. So it's pardon me.
I forget what you were saying, so you're gonna just have to go.
I was talking about legacy. It starts with loving yourself, because you can't do it by yourself. You can't run a business by yourself. You need a partner, and both men and women need each other. You can't live a life by yourself, and this is something that I've just felt like it's not nice being alone. Like, I'm gonna need a hug. I'm gonna need, not from myself. I don't want a hug from myself.
From someone
I wanna-
else.
Is that connection, is that intimacy. And intimacy doesn't just mean the sensual side of things. It could be a conversation. It could be going for a walk together, or sun gazing, or just spending time together, playing Monopoly together. That can be intimate time spent together. And it's a lifelong journey. If you're with somebody for life, then you have to not be bored with yourself. You have to have a hobby. You have to have an interest. You have to have something going for yourself. You have to be loving. You have to be caring, nurturing, or for both. Like if you want to be in a marriage, it's gotta be a loving marriage, especially when it comes to building a legacy, because you need respect from other people. If you, Lord forbid, get bankrupt or you lose it all, who do you have to turn to? You know, who are you gonna go to help you? So it's like, you have to love yourself in order to get that respect back. You have to esteem yourself to is a thing like if you walk like you're not confident, people aren't gonna have confidence in you. People aren't gonna believe in you. People aren't gonna trust that you know what you're doing. If you're running a business that's legacy long, like you need to pass on a respectable name. So when your kids are not acting right, people will check your kids because they know who you are. So it's a thing where it's like you have to think generations ahead of your time. You have to move in a way where you are at places where, like, say if I always see you at a club, but you got this business where you're handling people's money. I'm not gonna trust you because it don't seem like you know how to spend your money right. I don't feel like I could trust you because I always see you at this place. I always see you around these people. So that means, so your friends, your friend group, who you hang around, where you spend the most time at. If I see you and you're always around a bunch of people doing foolery, you're always doing foolery, I can't trust you and I can't respect you.
Yeah.
So it all comes hand in hand with self-respect and self-love, because if I love myself, I'm not going to be drinking. Personally, I don't drink. I don't smoke. So so when you love yourself, you don't want to damage yourself. You don't want to do anything that damages your body, your health, your mental health, or your reputation. And that all comes hand in hand with building a legacy.
Most definitely. I definitely understand where you said, like, where you see someone out in this element, or you see in my experience, what they post in this element.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to say, oh, I do this, and this. I can't take you serious
don't
because, yeah, I can definitely relate to that point in particular. And that's why I stopped going out and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, I want to be seen as someone that's financially literate. Like, I'm literate on what I'm doing with my money, with my investing and different things like that. I want to be someone that someone can say, hey, I see you doing this, can you help me to start?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be that person. But if I'm out every weekend spending my money, they're not going to take me serious.
Yeah, you need to invest in yourself first.
Exactly. So I 1000% agree with what you said there, and that's something that I have done. Like, I don't go out. I mean, I still drink, but I don't go out like that. Like, and if I do go out, I'm at a 2-drink max.
Yeah.
And if I'm not driving, then that's different. But if I'm gonna get myself back home, I'm at a 2-drink max. I ain't doing nothing more than 2 drinks. Deuces.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
Yeah.
And like, even like, it's like one of my friends, she always like, yeah, I don't call Satara after 8 o'clock. You ain't gonna got her. Because my phone goes on sleep mode, and
That's
nothing
good.
and nothing comes through.
Boundaries.
And boundaries, exactly. So it's all about knowing what you're willing to put up with and what you're not. I mean, if, like, I'm not saying I'm asleep at 8 o'clock. It depends on who you are as to whether or not I'm gonna respond.
Right.
That's all it is, and he knows that.
Yeah.
And as long as you know that you can't get a hold of me after a certain time, then you respect my boundaries.
Right.
Because you'll call me the next day, or you call me before that cutoff time, basically.
Right.
So I think I've definitely created that sort of what they call social proof, like,
Yeah.
like, because I feel like I've been doing the work, but I haven't been sharing it with the world.
Right.
So I'm at the point now in 2023, I'm going to start sharing it with the world. Because, like, I have a YouTube channel, but my YouTube channel, when I say it's out of date, I mean it's out of date. And when I say out of date, I mean it's stuff that I recorded in like 2020, 2021, 2022. So, and it just hasn't been put out. Because, like, even though I haven't been consistently posting, I've been consistently recording. Because at the end of the day, I'm documenting my journey from unknown to unforgettable.
Yeah.
For me, and that's where I had to stop just posting on YouTube, because I felt like I was copying other people. I had to stop and think, like, yo, that ain't you.
Yeah.
Who is Sakudini Robinson?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? And I come up with, I am on a journey from unknown to unforgettable. So I'm literally
That's your mantra.
just it's my that's my mantra. There you go. and that's all it is. It's just my journey. If you want to watch it, you can watch it. If you don't, you don't. But at the end of the day, and another reason why I want to continuously record my journey is because some people, not all, but people that are successful now, they have no proof of what the struggles that they went through.
Yeah.
Or they haven't shown the struggles that they've went through to
Yeah.
get to where they are. And I don't want that. I want to be as transparent as I can,
Yeah.
but still keeping my personal safety.
Right.
And that's why I'm putting things out 2 years later. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because at the
It's
end
still,
of the day,
you still did it. Like, you
yeah,
know?
it's everything that I've done is stuff that I've done. Like recently, I think I posted this on Instagram. I withdrew 20K from the bank just because I can. Yeah, just because I can.
You know the feeling.
It's a flex
Is it for the feeling?
for the
Why you
feeling of
withdrew it,
doing.
yeah.
Well, it was 2 reasons, right? So I had a CD account. I told myself I'm gonna get it to 25K. I got it to that 25K. I did my job within 5 years. That was my goal. I achieved my goal.
Yeah, that's what you did.
I was gonna buy a house that fell through, so therefore the money did not need to stay in the bank that it was in. And instead of just, this is literally just a flex. Like I can say that it was a flex. Of doing it just to say I can do it. I have done it, and in the next time it will be more. But I just really just needed to move the money from one bank to the other.
Okay.
It wasn't like I'm taking out 20K and I'm just gonna sit around with 20K. That's stupid.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it was. I withdrew it from one bank. It was the scariest walk from one bank to the next. I'm not gonna lie. That's the scariest walk ever, from one
I
bank
get
to the
you,
next
like-
bank, and just depositing it into the other bank.
Yeah.
And I just invested it. Like it was straight investments. I think I kept $5,000 to myself out of the 25, and the 20K that I withdrew went straight to my investments, and I did it as a flex.
I'm just
Like, yes,
flex on it.
flex. Because I don't know, like, and another reason that I did it was because, like, I don't know many people that can say they've done that. Like, no one's physically said, yeah, I just withdrew 20K from the bank just because I could. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never heard anyone say that. So, like, you know what? I'm going to do it, and I'm going to say it. Because at the end of the day, it's motivation for me to get to more than 20K.
Yeah.
To get to 30K,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
40K,
10
to
10x.
50K. Exactly. So, for me, that was more of is a flex. And it's a motivational thing for me. It's just like, okay, yeah, you did that. Well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Now work harder to do more.
Yeah.
So,
Next.
exactly. Next. And that's what that was. And then a lot of people was like, yo, you're crazy, bro, just posting that on Instagram. I'm just like, let me tell you something. This was 2 years ago. Y'all are just hearing about it because I don't post my life on social media.
Yeah.
You don't know my whole life. And I think what I'm going to do as I revamp my YouTube page is like make a clip of each video that I have and just post that on Instagram so people could just go and see it, even though it's from 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
It's still a part of my journey, and I just never posted anything on Instagram. So it's now more so for the Instagram people to catch up to
Yeah.
where
I get it.
where I am on YouTube, not where I am in life. So yeah, that's me and my flex of my money journey.
You know, you gotta have a healthy relationship with money.
Yeah, I feel like I do. And again, this comes from what you grew up around, right? So for me, I wouldn't say my mother was broke, but it felt like we was broke.
Yeah.
Single income home. I was in
Yeah.
private school, so that took most of my mama's money. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So everything else,
Woo. Okay.
what?
Cause a house, you grew up in a house.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
I grew up in this house where we are right now.
Because that's
Okay.
Yeah, so I
I'm
grew up.
calculating like in a private school. That's a lot of money.
I mean, it's a family house,
yeah.
so that's one
She
thing.
sacrificed for you.
Yeah, sacrifice. And my mom's an educator, and she didn't want me in the public school system.
Yeah,
like,
I
she
get
know,
it. I completely get it.
she's a teacher. That's what she does. So
Yeah.
she's like, I don't want you in this system. You're going to this school,
Right.
and that's what it was. So for me, it was like, it felt like we was broke, but even like we were, but we weren't in the aspect of what my mother is spending her money on.
Yeah,
So
investing.
you have to look at that rather than, oh, you're just broke. So for me, it's like I never want to be in this sort of predicament that my mom was in raising me,
Yeah,
of living paycheck to paycheck. Like, to
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
that's a no-go.
the rat race.
Even though I live paycheck to paycheck, but that's by choice. That's just because my investment journey is so what's the word, aggressive, in a
Like risk
sense.
taking.
Not necessarily risk taking, but I'm just putting in as much as I can. Like, I'm pushing that to the max of how much
Yeah.
I can put in. So,
Yeah,
because if I do that for 5 years, after 5 years, I don't have to push that hard.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's temporary sacrifices for long term gain.
yeah.
So it's all, and it comes old. Everything in life comes down to your mindset, because you could put up with living in a studio apartment for 5 years if you know at the end of 5 years you can buy a house.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It all comes down to your mindset, because some people are like, oh, I'm stuck in a studio apartment,
Yeah.
this, that, and the other. I'm just like, well, you're gonna stay in that predicament because of your mindset. If you change your mindset and you work your way out of that predicament,
Yeah.
then it'll be completely different.
Can't think past where they are.
Exactly. Some people really can't, and that's where cutting people off comes in. Boundaries. Boundaries.
Yeah.
Literally setting your boundaries.
Yeah, environment is contagious. Like, people can really speak you into your early grave.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's a fact. To your early grave. I like that one. I'm seeing that. Literally seeing it. So that's a fact. But is there anything else that we haven't discussed that you'd like to discuss?
I think we touched it. I think we touched
Okay.
it.
All right, so I'm going to go into the closing questions. I ask
Okay.
these same questions to everyone. The first question is, what advice would you give to 18-year-old you about what you're doing now?
Ooh. I tell my 18-year-old self, sit with the thought. Sit with the thought. Write it down. Imagine going through what you're thinking. And then if it's a good thought, go through it. Like, say, like, not just acting out of impulse, not just acting out of your feelings, because you could be thinking unreasonably, you know, just making conscious decisions, making good decisions. Start making good decisions early so you can fail upwards instead of failing backwards. Like, if that makes sense. You don't want to spiral downwards, you want to spiral upwards. You don't want to get stuck in a negative cycle. You want to grow past it. In order to grow upwards, you have to make good decisions, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense. What advice would you give to our listeners on entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship, no, this is something that I'm going to do right now. So this is something that, like, I'm speaking to myself as well. And this is something I've also heard from different people that's helped me. They can't see your vision. So don't look for validations outside of yourself.
Is it short and sweet? I love it. If they can't, say it again. Say it one more time.
They can't see your vision, and you have been blessed with that vision. So don't look for validation outside of yourself, because you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get good at the right advice for your vision, because your vision is specifically for you.
All right. What's next for you and your business?
No, I'm discovering myself. Like, I'm on a this self-discovery journey, getting rid of the old and becoming new. So right now, it's finishing the book. I just thought of this club so I can be around like-minded people. It's called Ladies Club, because you have the gentlemen's club and all that type of stuff. But I wanted to be around women with the same ideology, like want to be feminine, wanna just, you know, wear dresses with flowers on them. You know, like, just like feminine women who are wealth minded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Ladies Club, progressing in my education on like fashion, money, or it's just self-discovery, basically, just old self-discovery. And I'm just executing on it and delving in creativity.
That's good. Execution. I like that you said that, because a lot of people have ideas and never actually execute those ideas. So
Yeah.
as long as you execute this ladies club, we're cool.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, you can't have to
The ladies
execute
club.
this ladies club.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, you
So-
sound interested.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I need more people, more friends that are like-minded. Like, you know, like I said, I call myself lonely, but I do have friends. We do have
Alone just means
like-minded.
all in one. Just missing the owl. Alone, all in one.
You gave me another perspective. Thank you.
You know, you're becoming whole.
Yeah, that's true. Cause yeah, I feel like all entrepreneurs go through a lonely state, and it's
Selective.
expected.
Being selective of your environment.
Right,
your
you're being
friends,
selective of your environment, and you're finding your new one. So you're getting rid of your old and getting into the new, and that's where I'm at right now. But anywho, moving on. What would you say to your future self 5 years from now?
My present saying to my future self.
Yes.
Oh, that's new. Because my future self is always talking to me.
What would I say to her? Thank you. Thank you for getting me through the dark and giving me the light.
Okay, that's good. And lastly, where do you see yourself and your business in 5 years' time?
I'll be dating.
Be dating.
Yeah, I'll be dating. Like I did. I'm trying to make a business where it's like it doesn't take too much of my time away from my relationship. Like it stems back from what I said before. Like I'm really big on being with somebody, and I don't want my job to demand my time. I need to be with my family.
I can agree with that. That's why I'm working hard now while there isn't anyone else for me to have to give my time to. But then when that person comes along, I should have done all the hard work so that I have that free time, that freedom, that freedom to do whatever I please.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any additional questions from me?
Oh man, oh boy, okay.
It's your last chance.
I might be back.
You might be back. All right.
No, I'm good.
All right. Thank you, Jiqena, for coming through to the podcast.
Okay, I do have a question.
Okay.
Pronounce your first name one more time for me.
Sakudini.
Sakudini. What's a
Sakudini.
nickname?
Sue.
Sue?
Yeah, that's what I say on YouTube.
Okay.
Because I get tired of saying it every single time.
Okay. Sue.
Sue.
Okay.
But you know me as Satira, so it's okay.
So, yeah,
So it's okay.
Satira.
That's not for these people. My name's Sakudini.
It's Sakudini. You didn't hear that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jiqena, for coming through to the Black Accents Club podcast. My name is
My
Sakudini. I am the host, and I am on a journey from unknown to unforgettable. And before you leave, just tell everyone that's listening where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at lioness_dynasty. And I believe that's it.
All right. Thank you for coming through.
Yeah.